Hey everybody, Joe Misfit Glenn here. I am here with John Michael Stanley Sr.
Hey.
The myth, the legend, all that other good stuff.
I love it. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, bro. Hey, just let's let some folks come on. We got one right now, but we'll get up to about 5 and we'll get started. Okay.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah, man.
Beautiful night out.
Yeah. Hey, where are you at in Pennsylvania?
No, I'm actually in upstate New York.
Okay.
Yep, Elmira, Breezeport area.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We met.
beautiful.
Well, we were in Fort Drum together, man. Yeah. So we spent a lot of time up there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. What's up, Aaron?
I'm sorry that y'all had to do that.
No shit. No shit. Dude, I came from California, man. And I went to New York thinking it was going to be city stuff. Dude, we went to northern New York, and I was in the swamps my second week there, dude. Yeah,
yes, sir.
I'm from Arizona, so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you both were in a world of hurt as soon as that snow started falling.
Change, man.
It was April and still snowing. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. Be like, I've heard of snow, but I haven't heard of walls of snow like from, Game of Thrones and shit.
Right?
Yeah.
No doubt. All right, man. Hey, guys. So we got 4 viewers. We got a Facebook user. Usually got to give a StreamYard permission for your name, okay? Like right when you were about to join in, if you scroll down a little bit, it asks for permission, and then I can see your name, or you could just share it with me. What's up, Jesse? Welcome. And Aaron, I forgot to tell you, welcome, bro. Thank you for showing up, my man. Hey, Aaron.
That's got to be Smitty. That's got to be Smitty.
So what I want to start off with, man, I want to introduce you to my combat brother. This is Keith Ingram. I've known him since '92. We went through basic in a cohort unit. We went to Fort Drum together, went to Somalia and Haiti together, 2 combat tours. This is my ride or die brother, man. And when I say a brother, this is what I'm talking about. It's a special love. Cool. Right, now that I introduced you, bro, we're going to get after it. All right. And so, guys, tonight, man, we're here. The whole idea for having these kind of shows is about building the community, right? I want people to know all of these stellar veterans that we have in this group, like John, right? So I know that most of you some of you guys know about John, but this dude is like, he's that overachiever, and I want to kind of make that, known. All right. So John, man, just tell us a little bit about yourself, because, we gotta keep this going. Don't spread all the news right off the bat, man. Just tell me about yourself, tell me about your family and what you love, bro.
Right. So my name is John Michael Stanley Sr., or Sergeant Stanley, a lot of people call me. I grew up in a place called Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Moved when I was about 14 years old to a place called Battle Creek, Michigan, home of Kellogg's. And my mom got a job in upstate New York, and my brother and I followed. And about a year after that, actually after 9/11, my brother and I both joined the military, and seems like forever ago.
Right.
Yeah,
man, we were just talking, because, when your brothers come, you guys always talk about old times, and, it seems like forever ago, that we were doing this shit.
Right. Absolutely. It feels like a whole nother lifetime ago. And if I were to have to do any of that shit over again, I would fail miserably. So I'm glad we did it when we were young and not broken, and bodies were still intact. And,
that's
it was
why we're broken. Is because we did it all, man. We messed around.
Yes. That's big facts. Big facts.
Yeah. Sure, man.
When I first joined the military, my brother and I joined out of New York here, and we went to the mall, and I actually was a Coastie. Sorry. Before all this, I say all this, I was actually a Coast Guard, and I went to Cape May, New Jersey, did my basic training, got thrown out of a helicopter into the ocean, and had to swim back and passed all this stuff. So then I was a gunner's mate on the big cutters. About 2 weeks in, they came back and were like, you're allergic to shellfish, and you have a nice life. And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah. So I took this test in like the second week of basic training, but they waited until, 3 months later to let me know after I've already gone through Hell Week and swam, and they've already like drowned me a couple times. And so I get done and I come home and I'm disappointed in myself. Even though I had a full honorable discharge, I could have been one of those guys.
Right.
I went to the mall and I was like, this is unacceptable. So I always tell this story to people because it's so true. But you walk down the hallway and the Air Force is right there, and I pop my head in there like, oh, hell no. So I'm like, oh, all right. So I can't do the Navy thing because of the same allergy, food allergy, whatever, which is hilarious because I'm a chef. I can cook the hell out of some seafood and fish. I worked at Red Lobster for almost 15 years of my life and didn't know I was allergic to shellfish, which I don't know if I really am or not, long story short. I just don't eat it. I don't eat fish or seafood, but I can cook the hell out of it, right?
Right.
So I go down and keep going down. Marines are like, you're too crazy even for us. You had some issues, blah, blah, blah. So Navy's like, no. And then I keep walking. And these Army dudes are just eyeballing me, are like, oh, yeah, come on, boy. Come on, boy. Yeah, come on down. So that's what I did. My brother and I both joined. I was told I was going to Hawaii and ended up in Seoul, Korea. And so,
right?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because my brother and I both had really high ASVABs. I'm more of like a street smarts and he's more like a fucking Rain Man smarts, and it is what it is. But he's a computer programmer and I'm a chef, so we're just two different spectrums, literally. But Robert's a group member too, so if he's watching, I didn't mean to say spectrum that way, like the that way.
Hey man, I got grandchildren on the spectrum. I'm cool with it, bro.
Yeah, well, no, I listen. This smart, I am too. Shit, I feel like. So my wife calls me names all the time, dude. So I gotta be, one smart dude or something else. So it's awesome. Hey, listen, so we get down there and the Army guys are like, "Come on in," and that was it. We ended up started. So I get to the part where they're like, "What job do you want to have? What's your MOS?" And we both had over 90. I think Robert had like a 98 on his ASVAB show off, and. I think I had like an 89 or 90 or something. And my brother's like, oh, I'm going to be a computer technician and blah, 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 all this, communications and all this stuff. I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And they're like, well, what are you going to be? And I was like, I think I'm going to be a chef. And they're like, oh, 92 golf, huh? And they were like, now we get it. Now we know why you scored so high. They're like calling me names and stuff. And I was like, no, man, I really want to go cook all over the world. You know what I'm saying? And so I was going to go to Hawaii. I got sent to Korea instead. I got sent to a little air base called K-16, where I actually was introduced to my first colony competition, which comes up later again, but in the National Guard. But this was in my regular Army years. I got stationed at a K-16 base. There was 6 cooks for 7,000 soldiers on base, and it was brutal. Every one of us was an alcoholic and had been to ASVAB at least 2 or 3 times. But we'd catch out of the rehab and get an 18-hour shift in, and whatever. But so that was all there was to drink on the small air base. But we were about 20 minutes away from Itaewon, and while I was there, I really got to hone in on my craft. I really was blessed with my mom's side of the family, who has tons of cooking experience since I was, as I can remember, 4 or 5 years old. So when I got to Korea, a really good friend of mine named Elias, he's part of the Puerto Rican, he was in the Puerto Rican Guard and all kinds, just super solid dude. I've been to Iraq with him and everything. He was pushing me to like do more international meals, things like from my home, from my younger ages and things like that. So that's what I started doing. And there was this calling out for these colony competitions and this chef team going on. And I was like, well, I've had culinary experience before. I've worked in any type of steakhouse, any type of fancy restaurant, any type of sushi, anything since I was old enough to work in Canada, which was like, I don't know, 8. I'm just kidding. But no, I think I started working in kitchens when I was like 12 or 13, And so I was like, screw it, let's do it. Let's come up with our own, 7-course menu. If they ask us anything, we'll just bounce off each other, and let's kill this. So that's what happened. We just started knocking ideas off each other, and we knew what kind of like to expect from the recipes, and we kind of not cheated, but we prepared ourselves for every kind of question, and rather than just one or two. And out of 500 people, me and Elias got picked. We were out of 500 people, 4 of us moved on to get our Korean chef team coats. We got to go to Germany, Japan, Italy, Cork, Ireland. I was doing some cooking for 4-star General Laporte and the whole commanding officer of the 2ID, our Arrowhead patches. Yep. It was a really cool experience. I got to go to Vegas with our team. One of the coolest things about being in the military is all the places that I've been. I encourage anybody that is in the military, was in the military, to travel as much as they can, see the world on the company's dime. 100%. If I could go back and change things, I would been more sober and more places visited. But that's everybody in their 20s.
I have the same thing, and I'm sure Keith does too.
Yeah,
but
most definitely.
There was a lot of yeah, man, I wish I'd have went, because I was about to come down for Italy. I was about to re-enlist and go to Italy. That's where I wanted to be, take my whole family and just experience that with my family.
Yes.
And lo and behold, I come down for orders for Korea, right? And then so when I came down for orders for Korea, 9/11 happened. So I came down for orders for Afghanistan, and it bumped the Korean orders. And then I ended up getting hurt. Italy, man. And so it was just kind of, we wanted to go see the world too, because I was already in a good position in the military. Now I need to go and just kind of make my family happy, but just never got to opportunity.
And maybe this is something that I talk to my wife about all the time, is going back with the family. Like, cause I have 5 kids, and it's always crazy going anywhere we go. It's, we're a caravan, we got our own freaking convoy going anywhere, but
that's me,
maybe
man.
go back and revisit those places as a civilian. I think it would change my whole, obviously it'd be expensive, but like, it'd be so much more worth it to let my family see places that I've been. It's and proud moments of mine. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. And, as far as proud moments, man, and, a lot of times in the military, we do things that we as individuals, soldiers, are proud of that never gets recognized. Right. So keep in mind, talk about a proud moment, probably your proudest moment, or several if you have them, that either you were recognized or not recognized for, man. I'd love to hear about it.
Sure. So I'm already getting kind of choked up talking about this. When Hurricane Sandy hit, right? Manhattan was flooded. It was crazy. We got called from 102nd. I was part of 102nd MP Brigade. I was with a bunch of MPs. They were cocky, but they were all right. Menzer. But it's no, I'm just kidding. I love her. But I loved being their mess sergeant. I was actually holding the brigade. Yeah, the brigade mess sergeant, which was actually an E8, E9 slot, warrant officer slot, one of the 3. And I was an E5 at the time. And we got called down there because it was such disarray. I never forget getting there and the LMTVs and the water being almost as high as our tires. And the first thing that we did was we met up with the Manhattan police departments. I just come from Camp Smith, and then I got pulled down there. So I just remember there being sharks and shit in the water. They come over the berm. Like it was like something out of a movie. You know what I'm saying? And
sharks.
I have pictures that I'll post later on Vetco's if anybody's interested about that. But there was literal houses floating away, and we watched Billy Joel's yacht just sink to the bottom of the hitting the Tampanzee Bridge. But what you asked was one of my proudest moments. So we went to, after a little bit of the water, the tide had gone away, and we'd start working on getting back people to, we'd taken over an older building downtown in Manhattan, and it was literally like a business building. And we took over their kitchen. It was like a little makeshift kitchen. I put all my people in the kitchen. And then I was one of the only people who was like experienced enough to drive all the vehicles we had, and also TC and do some of the different types of vehicles and whatever. So I got called back out to help with the MPs. And we went to this one guy's house, and he was a Korean War vet. And when we first came up to the house, you could just see the water flowing, right? And it's just such a surreal thing, because you hop down in your waders and your boots, and you got like, you know, wet water gear and all this, but these civilians don't have any of the stuff we have, you know what I mean? So we were literally throwing people in the back of an LMTV on mattresses, and then trying to like have them hold on to the freaking passenger straps so we can get them to a rally point at the Manhattan Police Department. And there was 2 soldiers, one was driving, one was TC, and then there was a cop, and he would help us navigate where we had to go and like pick up, and the people who had the most distress, and 911 calls and all this. So we get to this one older gentleman's house. He had to have been, you know, obviously way older if he was in the Korean War in the 80s, and you know, whatever. And I just saw these like Shinto swords and these like medals, and I'm just like, what the? So I started grabbing a couple of them, because I knew right away that they were like military, you know what I mean? So we ended up going inside, and the woman was really frantic. She had to be in her 80s too. And I just remember her saying that, like, you know, his medals, his, you know, things like that. And it was just, he was an amputee. He was actually a quad amputee. It was kind of crazy. He lost his legs to diabetes or something. He lost some, you know, some teething issues, fungus or something happened. I can't remember exactly what happened, but so we ended up, I mean, I could see him on his table, and his wife was trying to like do her best to keep him like, it was crazy. I'd never seen anything like it. And we put him in the back of our LMTV. I gave him his medals. Like, we tried to get as much of his war stuff that we could. There was like lamp gasoline in the water, because there's like just a lot of crazy stuff. And I just remember getting to the police station, and his wife was just like hugging us and like thanking us for being there, and like, you know, it was just a crazy moment, you know. And that's something that I'll never forget. You know, and then there's other stuff, you know, that like my Conley competitions. Cooking's always been a big thing for me. When I became part of the National Guard, I started doing these. They had zero cooking going on in New York State, and I thought that was bullshit, because all of these different units had 92 Gulfs. So why are we catering food if you got cooks? Go to freaking Walmart, Sam's Club, or Costco, or whatever, and you know, we'll fit the bill, whatever. And so some of these people weren't having it, because they didn't want to change the way things were, which big surprise, right?
Right.
Come off of all these regular Army joints, and I've been going around redirecting people and starting up new kitchens, and it's crazy. You know, it's a lot of fun, because I love making kitchens. I love cooking, and I've already been to culinary school through the Korea, the Cordon Bleu accredited school. So I already knew what I was talking about. So, you know, right. So I would go in there and start knocking out these kitchens, and National Guard. Well, listen, here, National Guard, I need the kitchen built in such and such, and 827 Horsehead. So I was like, okay, I live around there. I'll, and then we need one in Binghamton. So, all right, Binghamton's priority. I went to 204th Engineers and literally walked into like an Addams Family kitchen or something. It was like crazy. Like, it was in the bottom of this like old ass building, and you know, you could just tell they had like a little like seating area like for food and stuff, but it'd been turned into like a storage area. And so I think within like 2 weeks of me coming to that unit, we had a makeshift kitchen where cooks were cooking out of it, right? So this is about week 2 after I got out of the regular Army and found out what a fucking joke the National Guard was. And when I saw, privates telling E7s what they were going to do and how they were going to do it, I was like, oh, okay. Oh, this is how this works in the National Guard. Okay. So then I started kind of like, I kept real quiet when I first got there because I didn't want to be, braggadocious. I don't want to be that asshole that's, whatever. So I just told them politely that I'd like to cook. And I think it would be, let me talk to some people from Drum and a couple missions I've done, and let's see if we can get some gear in here. So I made a call to Drum, where you guys are at. Yeah. And there's this thing in Drum called a graveyard. And it's where like all the old kitchen equipment goes to die. And they gave us like 6 stainless steel tables. They gave us like a convection oven. It was an older one. They gave us like a 4-burner or 6-burner stove, I think. So we were on our way, this little. And the reason I say all this little details part is because within about a year and a half, we'd won a Conley competition. We won $100,000 kitchen makeover. Wow. We won an invite to the Vegas Conley competition for the next year. And so in a very short span of Sergeant Stanley's go-getterness, or whatever you want to call it, we'd had cooks cooking again. So then I got a call from Horseheads 827. They're like, hey, I heard you set up a kitchen in 204th Engineers out of Binghamton. And I said, yep. Would you like to come do that over here at 827? I said, you know what? That's closer to home. Why not? It's about 15 minutes from my house. So I was like, all right, let's go. So I went there, and they'd gone to Afghanistan, and I was not doing that. So I'd already been to Iraq 3 times, so they can pound sand. And I was already a PT I was broken already by that time, and they didn't want me over there anyway. So I stayed behind and started a new kitchen at 827. And then I get a call from 102nd MPs in Auburn, and they're like, hey, are you Sergeant Stanley? I'm like, you know I am. So
maybe.
Yeah, I mean, depends on what you're asking, right? Exactly. Who the fuck is this? Yeah, new phone, who this? But no, so I went to 102nd MPs. That's where I met Nikki, Sergeant Menzer. I had a bunch of, and you'll see a lot of my soldiers will tell you that I do have like an infectious go-gettiveness, you know what I mean? And my wife's out here. See, we're just cleaning plants today. We're just.
Hey.
Just that.
So, man, I have to call you out on this, Stanley.
Mm-hmm.
We still here? Can you see me okay? Because you're oh, there you go. You said in your brief moment of go-getterness.
Yeah.
I think that's verbatim of what you said. I think it's really close.
Yeah.
But I distinctly remember you telling me a whole bunch of other shit.
Yeah.
That happened afterwards. Is it true that you have 4 degrees?
Yeah, I do.
What are they in?
So there's one point in time I was going to be a nurse. At another point in time, I was going to be a social worker. At another point in time, I was going to be a business management teacher. And at one point in time, I was going to be a psychiatrist. So I have my human services, my human services 2, my early childhood development. I have my early childhood development, my human resources 1 and 2, and then I have my business management degree.
If you don't mind me saying, so you said it was a brief stint.
He's still going, bro.
So actually, the newest ventures, and that's the fun. That's when you don't sleep. You got time for everything. You know what I'm saying?
Here it comes. Go ahead.
Yeah. So my newest ventures, we have my wife and I are. We're still in the baby steps of everything, but my wife's starting her own plant business. It's an exotic. Exotic house plant business with monsteras and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, that's one of the side things. I have a book coming out that's called Let My People Grow. And it's basically a 50-50. It's about, 50% fiction, 50%. You know, you got to do something for Hollywood, and then 50% real. And
Let us know when that comes out. I'd like to get that myself.
Yeah, absolutely. It's basically a story about a bunch of brothers that get into some stuff overseas, and the whole point of the book is actually to get people off of narcotics. When I came home the last time from Iraq, I had the 1,000-mile stare. I had the chip on my shoulder. I had the aggressiveness and standoffness to everyone, even my own family. For some reason, I was taking 13 meds. You know, it was I was working at Corning Incorporated, where it was very like white chef, very high, $60 an hour. I can't even play music. You had to make sure that everybody, it was a mess. And I love cooking, but that was its highest. That's where and I was the production chef for up there for about 5 years. And, I had to figure out real quickly that I can't work with others, have very big issues with oppositional defiant disorders, things like that.
Right.
I just forgot what the hell I was talking about. Oh, about the book and stuff. Yeah, see, the weed's good, but yeah. So I forget shit all the time. I got Einstein smarts, but the fucking attention span of a goldfish. Yeah. But the book is crazy. It's going to be, I got somebody, a chick named Emily Swan. She's going to be doing my cover art. She's the chick that does for Marvel, Archie Comics, a lot of different stuff that she like Boondocks. She's done some stuff for Boondocks. And it's going to be crazy, dude. It's going to change my whole life. It's something that the meds, that's what I was talking about, the meds. So I couldn't do it anymore. And my doctor, I called her the pill Nazi. I remember being in there with one of my kids in the stroller and my wife, and her telling me that she was cutting me off of like Vicodin and Percocet and Oxys and all this other shit that she was giving me for my back. I had gotten in a really bad car accident in Dallas in I-35 North, and got thrown out of my windshield. My seatbelt broke. My speakers hit me it was crazy. I'd moved, I started spinning my wheel because this lady was drunk. It was 11:30 in the morning, and she'd hit the wrong button. She hit the median and smashed right into me. And I had moved 4 cars over, got thrown out of the windshield, and ended up going back and, helping her out of her car. And I smelled alcohol. She had like 2 Great Danes behind her, and it was, long story short, her husband was a sheriff, and he basically smoothed everything over for her. So they filed bankruptcy before we even got to the hospital. So I couldn't sue him for millions and shit. So it was just the whole situation was fucking shady. But
yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Anyways,
so yeah, that's balls. Man, I have similar stories with medication. I did 15 years after I got out in 2005. It took me 15 years to realize that I was being decommissioned by the U.S. Army or by our government, whoever the hell is doing it. I was being killed.
Yeah.
Whoever.
That's what we were talking about.
Right. But
yeah,
they wanted to keep me sitting in a damn chair.
Yes. So we were talking about the pill Nazi. So that's what I was saying. So I remember sitting in the room with my wife, and she told me that I wasn't getting Vicodin anymore. And I just remember a trigger act. I chucked the chair. Like, I just was like, I'd never disrespected somebody like that, like I did that lady. And what I didn't realize is that she was trying to save me, right? Like, she was trying to, in her own cold turkey way, trying to like save my life. And it took me years. It took me, I'd say, I was pissed. I had this like anger towards this lady, and I still do. Like, fuck that bitch. But
because listen, man, I don't care if you're in the medical field. Damn well you can't just go cut somebody off a damn narcotic or an opiate.
Yeah.
Like that and not
so I was
backlash.
She definitely did, and I was so stressed out about it because I kept reading them. I've had. One of the things that I have is this unique quality to like draw people to be friendly with me, I guess you could say, but also puts me in a good spot for leadership positions. So I get these calls My wife calls them talk them off the ledge calls. I've had, you know, at least since my wife and I have been married for about 8 years, we've had 20 calls. You know, sometimes I've talked for 7 hours on the phone and everybody was okay. Sometimes I talked for 5 hours on the phone and they still decided to do what they were going to do. And I'm just glad I got a chance to say bye and things like that. You know, I always try to make people better. That's one of my goals as a soldier, as a leader, as a person, as a dad, as a husband. You know, and sometimes I slack and I need to work on that kind of stuff. But I guess the point I was trying to make was that, like, I gravitate to other people, and if I see somebody, everybody that I know now has a job or a business that they're trying to do. They're trying to better themselves, you know, like
Sure.
Everybody that I talk to, if they don't know what's going on with their paperwork, I got a guy, you talk to him, and there's people that can attest in the comments or whoever's watching, they'll tell you that I make shit happen. I'm a go-getter and I don't bullshit. When I want to do something, I do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't wait around for somebody else to do that shit for me, because that's how you lose, man. That's how you lose out, and it's stagnant, you know?
Yeah, I'm too impatient to wait around. And so, you know,
Yeah.
as I get older though, it's a real bitch. You know, you gotta incorporate. But I have kids, right? And those kids are willing to help, thank God, right?
Yeah,
And
man.
so I just cheap slave labor, you know. So it's like that.
Word.
But I can't do it anymore, you know. But yeah.
So we were talking about getting off of meds. I got off meds and only strictly weed, right? And I went to my psychiatrist at the VA and I told her, like, listen, this helps me. This puts me at ease.
Yeah.
I need to figure this out, because I'm not going to be taking these meds anymore. And I started writing that book very shortly after. I just remember this very lucid feeling of being in the moment, but I'd missed these meds for a couple weeks, and you know, you got to be on a cycle for some of these meds. Like, you got to be on it for like 2 weeks, and if you miss a day, you got to restart and do all this extra bullshit, right? And
Right.
I just remember coming home, and I had to take 7 pills. We get inside, I drink the water, I have a snack, you know, whatever, and I just remember yakking up, you know, look like Dr. Mario in the sink, you know, and I was done. I'm like, okay, I got to figure this out. And I called my psych doc and I was like, listen, I'm not taking the meds anymore. I'm just going to smoke weed. I'm going to grow weed. I'm going to, you know, I'm not going to drink as much. You know, alcohol has been a problem my whole life since I was 10 years old, I think. You know, I've done stupid shit on alcohol.
Here we are.
You know, I've never really done a lot of dumb shit on weed other than fucking giggle and eat snack food. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
Literally.
but I know that alcohol brings out this sharp tongue and my serpent tongue. Like, I'm nasty with people. I'm a mean drunk, so I know that I can't do it. So that's one of the things I told my psych doc. Like, I'm not stopping this just to like do other shit. Like, I'm stopping this to help myself. And if you don't like that, you know, and luckily I had because everything's federally not legal yet, even though we're legal in New York, federally we're not legal. So the VA is not going to give you the green light on sign off on your medical card.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's their job or their ass. But it should be. It should be.
I think so.
You know what I'm saying? It should be okay, acceptable. You know me enough to, you know, intervene and let, you know.
There's a lot of caveats to the decriminalizing cannabis through the federal government. If they did that, all the people that are in jail for cannabis related incidents would have to be released.
Right.
And imagine the government losing all that money. It ain't gonna
Yeah,
happen.
you're right.
And so it's all about business, and you have to be logical with this. They're not going to do it. They're going to let everybody do their own thing. And when it suits them, they will hammer someone.
Right.
That's how they work, man.
100%.
That's the God's honest truth, man.
Yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. And I think that it's never going to change unless we get some younger meat, some veterans, some louder voices until we all, and you know, let's get these fucking dinosaurs out of office, dude. What the fuck? And I'm not going to talk about politics, but I just, you know, I do think that if we are stagnant and don't do anything and think somebody else is going to do something, it's just like the military, right? Like, it's like, okay, well, that's how people die, because you're complacent. You're okay with letting that fucking butter bar lieutenant tell all these people, going the wrong direction, but you want to teach that lieutenant a lesson. Actually, you're not. You're ruining, you're effing up something for 50 other people. You know what I mean? So and that's always lead from the front, and just be smart about it. And, that's basically it about that. You know what I mean?
I agree with you, man. One thing I wanted to say real quick before I had forgotten, man, is thank you for your service, man.
Yeah, man, of course. Thank you for your guys's, man. I'm lucky to have what I have. Like I said, when we started talking, it feels like a lifetime ago. It feels like, and one of my biggest things, right? So now we're present day. I run a catering business. I run a very successful international catering business for upstate New York, and you can't find anything with as many ethnicities as mine in like 100-mile radius, not even in New York City, baby. So I'm really proud of that. That's something that I'm super proud of. I won. Oh, and that's the other part. So it brings me back full circle. So Conley competitions I mentioned earlier. I wanted to say this part because I'll forget because I don't remember shit. And I talk in circles most of the time. My poor wife. So I wanted to talk about these Conley competitions because when I was up in upstate New York, we would go onto these rock quarries for 827 and they would have to pave this thing outright. And I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with an MKT, but it's a mobile kitchen trailer.
Yeah.
You walk up one side, they feed you. You walk down the other side or whatever, like a horseshoe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so there's a trick. Now, the Conley competitions I was talking about, you have to cook a 7-course meal off of an MKT. So it's not just spaghetti and meatballs. It's like chicken parm. It's like lasagna. It's like, and you're talking about close quarters. You're like, oh, sorry, Sarge. Oh, fuck, get out of my way. Oh, it's hot. Fuck. Like, dude.
Where the hell were you in Afghanistan and Somalia?
Yeah.
Hey, bug, come on.
Yes, I know. Well, the first time we were over, that's how it was. The second and third time we had defects and all that. By that time we were, good to go. But everything is worse the first time. But we were just talking about defects. What were we just talking about? Oh yeah, Conley competitions. Yeah, so Conley competition. Mm-hmm. So they tell us you have to pick this recipe out of 10 out of a hat, and we just happen to get what was it? Chicken parm with primavera sauce and spaghetti and garlic bread and I'm looking at the MKT and I'm like, you got to be shitting me. You know what I'm saying? Because these heaters run off of jet fuel, like JP8 fuel. So you got to like, as soon as you turn these heaters on, it's like,
like a walk.
It's crazy, right? So first of all, it's in the middle of summer. And we're like, oh, this is going to be fun, Right. So we did. I'll post pictures later of it too, but so we get through, and by the way, you got to feed 400 soldiers with that same meal. Oh, what? That's ridiculous. So we ended up winning the whole competition. The only people that were even close to us were the people in Vegas who'd been doing this for 10 years.
Right.
And they were pissed. They were so mad that we won. But we went from a kitchen that was used as a storage area and had a couple tables donated for Fort Drum.
Yeah.
And had a fucking awesome NCO that was like, all right, cooks are going to cook again. I don't know who that guy was. But seriously, I feel like I am part of the movement of Upper New York, at least. I can't say for everywhere, but my area in New York, or at least the 5 or 6 counties around me, as cooks cooking again. You know what I'm saying? And I'm proud of that because that's what I joined the Army to be. I peeled potatoes for the first 3 months because I thought I was a hot shot. But, after that, I was the best potato peeler they ever seen. Yeah. So they couldn't fuck with me anymore, What do you got? Carrots? What do you got, bitch? You got peppers, carrots? What? Bring them potatoes.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But I think it just shows how much I'm willing to help my fellow peeps, you know. And then when I started messing with vet codes, I talk with Dave all the time. I talk with TJ on the side all the time. Until I found this group, like I was wandering around lost. I was wandering around like, okay, I can't talk to a lot of my friends because my circle is very small and they're my own veterans. And they got lives too. They got kids. They got shit they got to do. Not everybody's got it like me. I get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm very lucky to get paid what I get paid to breathe from the military and my 100% and if anybody needs help with that, I'm telling you, I got a guy, and it doesn't matter what state you apply from. That's just something, just remember that. But we're very lucky to have what we have. And that's what I want for best for everybody. Like, I'm literally trying to start 2 more businesses as we speak, you know? So it's like, I was talking with Nick Craven from Sea of Greens yesterday. I think last night, maybe yesterday. I can't remember. My days just mashed. But, you know, we were talking about businesses and stuff, you know? And it's just like, and same with Caleb. Caleb put me on to a lot of business stuff because I'm trying to start something called Gorilla Smoke Genetics here in the next 6 months, I'm hoping. But I've got some crosses going and some crazy stuff growing. I got some stuff called it's Tear Gas OG mixed with God Bud mixed with Acapulco Gold, and I'm calling that golden. What do we say? I can't remember. Golden something.
Hell yeah.
Golden Gun or something like that. But it's just insane growing. You know, everything just has been working out for me. But I think it's more of like I've been pushing good karma out to people lately.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, that's what I try to do too. I just try to, dude, you know, I can't say it enough. Mean people suck, man.
They
you know,
do.
And so I try to be the exact opposite.
Right.
You know, I try to be there for everybody. And
Yeah.
I know in return that everybody, at least that the frequent flyers that come in here, man, I know they do the same for me. And I know this guy would, you know, matter of fact, he'll call me when I haven't even said anything to him. That's how connected we are. And I know that there's a lot of brothers and sisters out there that are the same way. You're just really close, you know?
Absolutely.
And I want to exacerbate that with everyone else, man. Just like what we're trying to do today, man. I mean, dude, you have done some phenomenal shit in your career, in your life, in your family. I mean,
it's amazing, dude.
That's a lot of shit, and you should be proud. I'm proud of you, bro.
And a lot of people, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. The thing is a lot of people didn't. And I'm sure this can relate to both of you as well, but people didn't give me a chance after 18 to make it. You know what I'm saying? I was the guy that was supposed to do the overdose. I was the guy that was supposed to go too fast and drive off of, you know, and do, you know, I wasn't supposed to be a
statistic.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be in prison by now. You know what I'm saying? And there's nights that I probably should have, you know, maybe. You know, I was one bad decision away, and I reiterate, drinking will get you there, you know, and I've never had a good night off of drinking too much, but I've had great nights off of smoking too much weed.
A little chilled out the next day. You know,
and I can still do what I want to do the next day, and I'm not.
And think clearly.
It took me a long time, and addiction's a bitch, man. I'm addicted to being addicted. And my wife, she drinks. So my wife drinks a couple beers, you know, to chill out. She doesn't smoke yet. I'm trying to get her on some, but the stuff I smoke is high test, so she'd probably be on the floor. You know what I mean? So I'd have to ease her into that. But you know, and now I don't drink every night. I'll have a beer with my dad watching a game or something, but like not two bottles of tequila, and I wake up on the floor and I go work a shift the next day or something. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of that. I'm proud, you know, and that is part of it, is being proud of yourself. And until you're feeling yourself, you're definitely not I had so many relationships that failed until I met my wife because I was me. And it was like my fucking drinking and my addictions are more important than whatever you got to tell me. You know what I'm saying? So,
and you know, like for me, I met my wife when I was 18. Like before any of the bad shit had happened. I was married before I went to my first, you know, combat tour.
Right.
So, it was a stress ball when you come back. We're all different, you know, and we had to learn each other all over again each freaking time. Right. But we grew up together. Although I was the one doing all the changing,
Mm-hmm.
She was still there with me. And so that's why I never really had, I believe why I never had an issue. October 24th will be 32 years for us, or 31.
Wow. Congratulations,
so,
bro.
And I knew him a little bit longer than her, like 5 months longer than I've been with my wife. And so that's the kind of people I like to be around, man, because they know me, I know them, I'm very comfortable. Man, it's just the love of your experience.
It's all love, baby. It's all love.
It's all good shit. And
I got a couple of my battles that I talk to on a daily basis that are all members now. So it's like, it's cool to be able to like my boy Papa. I talk to Alex Papa every day. He calls me and we call each other probably 5 or 6 times a day sometimes, showing each other, hey, does this look like spider mites? It better not fucking be spider mites. Hey, does this look like a bean growing off of this one? Nah, you're good, man. That's a fucking calyx. Like, oh, okay, all right. And then we, but and that's same with like a bunch of my people on here. And I, and that's the other thing is seeing everybody, seeing the Don Hudson, seeing, the Joe, you and people other showing us, and I've been growing weed for a little bit, but not like years and years. I'm a smoker, not a fucking grower, until the prices got crazy, and then I didn't know where the weed was coming from. You know what I mean? So, and I refuse to buy weed at a sticker shop. I'm not doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Fuck that.
The reason I fucking started growing weed was because of what they did with me with medications.
Right.
Now I cannot trust anyone. And that related over to anybody growing weed besides myself. And so I grew my own medicine. And then it became such a passion and such a great hobby and a therapy for me that, dude, everybody needs to know about this, man. This really makes you feel good if you're into it,
Yeah,
so that's what I try to share, man.
Hell yeah. Well, you're doing a good job with this, man. And
I appreciate that, man.
And same with Dave and TJ. They've been killing it from the start. Like, we started from the bottom. Now we're here.
Yeah, man. That's for sure, dude. It's been a hell of a ride for them guys.
One of the coolest. I'm hoping to have a Vet Codes table at Comic-Con 2023 this year. Okay. And I'm not sure exactly who our panel is going to be, but I've been doing it for almost 13 years. So if there's anybody in upstate New York that wants to come to a cool Comic-Con, it's free for all vets. We've had all kinds of people. We've had people from Walking Dead. We've had wrestlers. We've had last year we had the Power Rangers. We've had the real ones. We've had Eddie Munster. What's his name?
Really?
Oh, yeah. When is this? So it'll be in October. I'll post some stuff up, and hopefully I might see Dave. I'll have him. He come stay with me for a day or two if he wants, or anybody that's in the area. But yeah, it'll be fun, and it's free for vets and their families. So
cool, man.
I'm just trying. Hell yeah, bro.
All right, bro. So we got 50 minutes in, man. I want to go ahead and just shout out to a couple people. Charlie, I see you, man. Welcome, Chris. Thanks for showing up, man. I've been seeing all your stuff, man. I've just been a little preoccupied with the master over here with all this shit. Damn, man. I'm impressed, bro. Seriously. I really need to lean on you guys for some knowledge with the I can grow it, but now I need to learn how to like breed, and that's why I've been talking with Caleb and a couple other our master growers on here and stuff. And I'm just they got a wealth of information. I know how to tell you how to do it, but you got to do it type of thing. I'm in the process of the breeding thing. I'm literally at the end stages of a breeding project. That second time video I did. I'm collecting her seeds now, and it's kind of a cool process. But
we'll definitely have to link up on Messenger for sure.
Yeah, man. Once I do 2 or 3 more, I'll be able to explain to people the process and what's important.
I think that would be a great class, bro. I think a lot of people would learn. Damn, it's all dark. A lot of people would learn a lot from that, actually. Yeah,
man. But anyway, so we're gonna wrap this up.
Sure.
Senior, I appreciate you coming on here, bro, and sharing.
Yeah, bro.
Dude, you literally have a hell of a story, man. And you know what? I think that you should probably come back on, and we can kind of elaborate on a couple of the other things, especially your new book.
Yeah, bro. I can't wait till that's done. I'm hoping we're in like the editing stuff right now, and my wife's aunt actually is a publisher, and we're gonna be, dude, fingers crossed. I'll, unless it's too crazy, I'll buy everybody in Vet Codes a book, man. And give them out as giveaways or something.
I'll buy that book.
I'll buy that book.
Yeah, bro. Well, I appreciate that, boys. It's really nice to talk with you, and I'm in all your guys' lives. You can see my name in there. I watch them all the time.
Yeah,
so
you, man.
I
appreciate that too, man. Really.
No, you guys
support, man. We got to support each other.
Straight up.
We all have something in common, and that's minimal. But I know that we have at least a couple of things in common, and that's and military service. So we can just go off that, man.
Green and green, baby. Green and green.
Yeah. We need to build each other up, man. And that's what this is all about. And I really appreciate you taking the time to share your stories with us, my man.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate the hell out of you guys.
Yeah, man.
Everybody, I didn't see any comments, so I didn't see if any were talking shit, but I'll find you in the afternoons.
Yeah, no, Nikki was just all, about love, for her.
Oh, yeah. That's my battle. That's my battle right there.
Yeah, man. And so, yeah, it was all love, man. That's all we got in here, man. It's all about that love.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
All right,
well,
man.
You guys have a good night, and I appreciate this, and you have a good one, all right?
I appreciate you, my man.
Stay lifted, fam.
All right. Peace, bro. All right, everybody. Thank you for showing up, man. And Thursday, I don't know what's up yet. We'll figure it out. Probably something about growing, unless another one of you veterans want to come up on and talk. Eventually I'm going to get my boy Keith up in here, and we're going to have a laugh fest. But disclaimer, you guys might be a little bit offended at times, man. I hope not. Get off me, man. All right, guys.
Hey, by the way, tomorrow's Joe's birthday.
Hey, the big 5-0, y'all. So come and see me. Cool. All right. Until then, guys, happy growing, y'all.